Welcome to the NeuroPreneur Rising podcast. I'm your host, Polly Pollock, and I'm a marketing mentor, author, and neurospicy business owner, here to guide you in the journey of growing your business, getting seen, and getting clients on your terms. This is the place to be if you're an ADHD or neurodiverse entrepreneur and you're done with forcing yourself into marketing and business strategies that feel restrictive and awkward, and you're ready to embrace how your unique mind works so you can create the success that you deserve. On this podcast, we're going to be talking about ADHD and neuro-friendly marketing, dopamine-driven and sustainable business strategies, and how to get seen and paid your way without the burnout. And a little something to get you started before we dive in. If you're tired of staring at a blank screen when it comes to creating your content, wondering what the hell to post, go and grab the neuro-friendly content kit. It's free and it was built by me for brains like ours. It takes the overwhelm and the confusion and the frustration out of content creation and helps you really showcase your brand and convert your audience into customers. Go ahead and grab it in the show notes. All right, let's jump in. Hello and welcome to the first episode of NeuroPreneur Rising. This is kind of a weird feeling because I have recently pivoted to this rebrand, to this kind of fresh start. So you may be listening from my previous audience, and if you've followed along, hello, thank you so much for sticking with me. And if you're new, hello, welcome. I am just so stoked to be doing this. This was something that was really calling for a long time. I kind of gently pivoted to serving particularly an ADHD and neurodiverse audience. And now that pivot has turned into a full-on rebrand. So yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. So I'm really, really excited to be doing this new podcast. This is the first episode of a series. So we're going to be diving into some really, really exciting topics over the next few episodes. I am currently sat batch recording all of these. So by the time you're listening to this, it means that you'll have something like 4 or 5 episodes to sit and binge watch. So I hope you enjoy. So this episode really is going to be a little bit of an introduction, a little bit of a kind of like a trailer, I suppose, of what we're going to be talking about in the podcast overall, what my hopes are for this podcast, and just really warming up the space and just letting you know what this space is really, really for. So just starting off, you are 1000% in the right place if you are a ADHD or neurodiverse entrepreneur, or neurospicy as I like to call it, and you struggle with marketing because you feel like every bit of marketing advice you are seeing, whether that's growing your business, getting clients, using social media, sustainability, whether like anything that you're seeing, you feel like it's just not going in, and like you are trying to force yourself into these systems and structures that end up actually feeling really restrictive, and you feel like even when you try and be consistent with it, you're actually 10 steps back at every time. This really is such a common issue in today's online business and online marketing world. My 2024 was filled with new clients coming to me and all saying exactly the same thing. You know, a big part of why I made this pivot was because every single client, pretty much bar a couple, every single client pretty much was neurodiverse, like me. I'm an ADHD girly. I hate that saying, but hey ho, I'm an ADHD girly. And I feel it, and I felt it big time when I was first starting my business. And anyway, every client that I got in 2024 really was saying exactly the same thing. And it was so glaringly obvious. And I feel like it's important to speak about because we see a lot on the online space kind of, how do I put it? In my opinion, fake shit. We see a lot of overnight success kind of vibe stuff. We have a lot of people talking about how easy it is to grow your business and get clients on, you know, socials or online or whatever it is. And all you need to do is follow their strategy and you're away. And that isn't as easy. That really isn't true for anyone, in my opinion. I've been doing this for a pretty long time now. I've been a marketing mentor for a long time. Even when I was unofficially doing it, I was doing it on the down low. I've been through this shit myself. I've been running a business long enough anyway to know that that's not how it works. It's not how it works for anyone. But following that advice can be even more tricky for neurodiverse entrepreneurs. I feel in general, even with advice that is solid advice, but it's made, so I'm not talking about the fake shit anymore. I'm talking about solid advice that is created by neurotypical people for neurotypical people. That is incredibly, like, it's a very tough pill to swallow when you're a neurodiverse entrepreneur. It's not advice that we find necessarily easy to follow. It's not advice that is friendly to our energy cycles or energy levels, especially with like ADHD specific listeners. You know how it is to have those up down cycles when you're hyper focusing 1 minute and literally drained to fuck the next minute. When you need that dopamine, but you know that obsessing over social media metrics is really, really unhealthy. It's hard. It's really, really hard to follow neurotypical advice, especially with things where it requires consistency, something like marketing. And again, a huge part of what pushed me to do this pivot was that I feel like neurodiverse entrepreneurs are incredibly underrepresented in the online space. There is really no one catering to neurodiverse minds. And that's because the majority of people running a business or in the world are neurotypical, right? It's not their fault that they're not. I'm not saying they should. Why should they give neurodiverse advice because they're neurotypical? But that's where I'm coming in now, because that was where it really hit home for me, was seeing how underrepresented, you go through it yourself and you're like, yeah, okay, that's hard, as I did when I was first putting my business online. But when you see it now from the other side of the coin, now I'm seeing it as a marketing mentor, and I'm getting, every client coming to me and saying exactly the same thing. It's like, oh shit, this is a big problem. It's a very big problem. So that's really what I hope to do here is simplify the ever-loving shit out of marketing. Like, I cannot fathom how it's become way more overcomplicated than it needs to. All the advice, all the things that you see online, all of the right ways of doing things, marketing is actually quite simple. So I really hope to make it simple for every listener on this podcast. I hope to just take everything that feels overcomplicated, and I will be reaching out and, asking you guys, what do you want me to work at? What do you want a training on? What do you want an episode on? Now I will take things that you feel are completely overcomplicated and I will make them so simple to understand. I won't go into all of my feelings about why things have been overcomplicated, and I won't go into that in this episode. I will in one other episode. I'll do like a spicy episode and I'll call it all out. But just here, I want to kind of set the expectations of what I'm going to be doing with this podcast, and simplifying marketing is going to be the main thing. When things are made simple for our neurodiverse brains, we can digest it, we can understand it, and you know what it's like. We can hear things 1,001 times, and if it's explained in a certain way, it will not go in. So I really hope to be a bit of a messenger, I suppose, and kind of filter out all of the stuff that just doesn't go in and put it as simply as possible. I secondly want to provide a safe space for you to grow. Being a business owner is hard sometimes. Growing a business, it will test you like nothing else. And I feel like we have a lot of not like false positivity, but there's a lot of like, okay, you got to hold your vision, you got to feel the same every day, you got to show up every day the same, you got to keep your mindset right every single day, you can't let your emotions win. And that's not really going to work for a lot of us neurospicy people, because emotions are a massive part of just our daily life. I mean, 1 minute you're laughing, 1 minute you're crying. So it's not as easy as just cancelling out when your mind is the main thing that controls you, and there's no sugarcoating it. And I'm not here to add to that. Oh yeah, just master your mind, just ignore your emotions, push it all back, you're in control, because sometimes you're not. And that really is a very real part of being neurodiverse, and to bypass that would be a disservice to yourself, and really, from me, it would be a disservice to you. So I want to provide that safe space for you to actually feel the things that are coming up. Not ignore them, not repress them, not trying to just push through it until you burn out and you've bottled it all up and then it all comes out. none of that. We want to be working with whatever we're feeling. And I really, really hope to provide that space for you to do that. Feel the things that come up, but then work with your neurospicy brain, your neurospicy self, and actually giving yourself what you need. It's all just about the way you're going to be running your business at the end of the day. If you try and run your business and you try and market yourself in a mold that isn't going to be, it's not fitting, then it's going to crumble at one point. But if you allow yourself to actually feel and be and experience the things that are very real for you, but also find structures and strategies and ways of going about things that fit, you will find that you'll be happier. You will find that your business will be doing a lot bloody better. And you're not going to feel like you're constantly behind or doing something wrong. And lastly, I'm going to be frank. I really do feel like the online business world has gotten massively toxic. Again, that was another huge reason for, I knew it was the right time to start doing this work. The online world, really in the last, I'd say 6 years, it's gotten worse in the last couple though. Again, it's the overnight success kind of mentality has gotten way out of hand. People thinking that the only way they can grow their businesses is by going viral on social media. Trust me, take it from someone who's gone viral. It does not mean clients. I'll go into it in another episodes, but it's not the one. But people really are stuck on that. Like, oh, I need to go viral. I need to, just get my clients through social media. And for us, that's not going to work, because we don't show up the same every day. And that's not what consistency is about. Consistency is showing up in ways that are going to work for you every day. And if one day you've got low energy, so fucking be it. We'll work with it. That's what we do. Doesn't mean you have to sit and do nothing and get into a doom scroll all day. It means you can still have boundaries with yourself, but you do lower energy tasks. But yeah, the online world itself has just gotten majorly toxic. So I really, again, hope to provide a space where we can just be real and remember the things that actually move the needle in business, rather than the things driven by ego and the things that will just get you into a spiral of self-doubt, self-shame, false expectations. I'm just trying to be so frank here. I feel like we're all at a point where so many people have seen this side of growing your business, and the things that I hear from people are, I've either worked with a bad coach, or I've seen so many ads on my socials, or so many people just popping up telling me all sorts of information about how to grow my business. Whatever it is, that's the kind of thing that I hear from people. And I feel like every single person knows exactly what I mean when I say that it's getting out of fucking hand. So I really am going to strive to work to make this the only space that you need to grow your business, get clients, get seen, increase your income, and build a sustainable business on your terms. And I'm just so excited to build that. And so while these episodes are going to be filled with action and, things that you can go away and implement, and very positive things that you can then go and make change with, it is going to be a space to be real. It's going to be a space to get into the very real things that we struggle with, because, from my perspective, and also from the work that I've done with clients in the past, when you stop bypassing it, like the things that you inevitably experience and go through as an ADHD or neurodiverse entrepreneur, you learn to accept it, and it makes it so much easier. And one of my main things that I'm going to be talking about is something called energy first marketing. That is marketing that serves you, and marketing that is not going to drain you and burn you out. So for example, not making social media your only marketing strategy, if you can even call it a marketing strategy. It is a good tool, it's the cherry on top of the cake, but we want to actually get you seen and paid and, known for what you do in the real world as much as, on socials. So, not forcing yourself into rigid rules and strategies and structures that don't feel good, and finding structures that actually are going to be fun for you to make consistent. Working with your energy levels, working with how your brain works, working with your own patterns. A lot of what I go into as well is shadow work. Shadow work is a huge part of my work. It always has been, even when I was running my first spiritual business as a spiritual coach. It's always been my main thing, and now I've carried it all the way through to where I am now as a marketing mentor. it will never leave my methodology. I just think it's fantastic. So, going into your fear of being seen, your fear of showing up, your fear of leadership, all of that stuff, and looking at where you can work with your natural rhythms. And my number one rule for this podcast is break the rules. And I mean that in a way of no one size fits all shit anymore. There is a pattern that I see. I don't mean break the rules as in have no structure, because I do see certain people like I see it a lot in ADHD and neurodiverse entrepreneurs. They're like, I don't need a niche, I'm throwing it all out the window, fuck this, I'm just gonna be me. And like, yeah, be you, but be your brand. But you do need a niche. Like, oh my gosh, that is one thing I will definitely go into in further episodes, is I am the most like break the rules person, but I swear to God, like, have a niche, please. I will go into why. And yeah, like I would really encourage just thinking, like drawing outside the lines a little bit. Encourage yourself to bend the rules, encourage yourself to break certain rules. I mean, there are certain rules that really can go out the window. For example, posting 3 times a day on Instagram. I mean, that's not even a real rule, but Jesus, I hear it enough. That one can go out the window. But test yourself, and yeah, allow yourself to kind of push those boundaries. So that is it from me today. I'm going to just leave it here. This was just going to be a little introduction episode, and yeah, I can't wait for you to binge the rest of the episodes. And I will leave it there. And please feel free to go and check out the show notes. You'll find the freebie, so that's the Neuro-Friendly content kit. You'll find access to my 2 and 4 week mentorship containers, my long-term mentorship, and also give me a follow on socials at NeuroPreneur Rising. That's on Instagram and TikTok. And I really, really cannot wait to be a part of your journey, and I will see you soon.